It's pretty striking, isn't it, how fast the tech conversation can just pivot? I mean, not long ago, it felt like everyone was talking about generative AI, these chatbots writing text, spitting out code.
Yeah, that was the big wave.
But now, looking at what we've been reading, reports from CX Today, JP Morgan, Gartner, even whispers from OpenAI and Datum Quest, the whole narrative seems to be shifting, for 2025 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually calling it the year of AI agents. And straight away, the question that pops into your head is, okay, what does that really mean for you personally? Is it just, more tech hype? Or are we actually looking at something fundamental, changing how we work, how we live day to day?
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? What we
Yeah.
need to dig into, because this isn't just about like slightly smarter software. We might genuinely be on the edge of a real transformation.
Okay.
So through this discussion, we're going to dive into these different sources, try to separate the real signal from all the noise,
Yeah.
to really get a handle on this whole AI agents thing.
Right.
Our goal is pretty simple, really. Give you a clear picture of what's going on, why it seems to be happening now, and what the ripple effects could be, all without, hopefully, drowning you in tech speak.
Yeah. Keep it accessible.
Exactly. We want to pull out those key insights, those sort of aha moments, so you can get up to speed on this trend pretty quickly.
Okay. So AI agents, it does sound a bit sci-fi, maybe a little futuristic, but practically, what are we talking about?
Well, the sources we looked at, Datum Quest and an article in VentureBeat has some good definitions. They talk about autonomous intelligent systems.
That's honest? Okay.
Yeah, think of them almost like virtual coworkers. That's how VentureBeat put it. They can handle complex tasks. And here's the key bit, with minimal human input needed.
So it's definitely more than just a chatbot answering prompts then. What makes it an agent?
Exactly. The crucial thing is that autonomy. It's not just a program running through a fixed script. These agents have a level of intelligence, you could say, that lets them plan, reason, and, well, act independently to get stuff done.
Okay, act independently.
The examples we're seeing already and what's projected, they really show this. We're talking systems that could, say, manage your email inbox automatically, sort out complex travel plans, or even assist programmers writing code. OpenAI mentioned that.
Right.
Think less like a helpful script, more like an assistant that can actually take initiative.
Right. And it's not just personal tasks either. Business Cloud had that example, didn't they? Forge Holiday Group, using them for customer interactions, marketing.
Scaling up.
And CX Today mentioned a network provider potentially using them to spot outages, figure out who's affected, and send alerts. All automatically, without a human clicking go at each stage. It's kind of wild how fast this seems to be moving beyond just, personal productivity hacks. Businesses are already figuring out how to plug these in system-wide.
And what's really interesting is why now? Why is 2025 being flagged as this inflection point?
Good question.
Well, Datum Quest points strongly to the technology just getting mature enough, especially those large language models, the LLMs we hear so much about, like GPT-4, Google's Gemini.
Okay, so the underlying engine is powerful enough now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Think of LLMs as AI trained on just vast amounts of text, right? So they get really good at understanding and generating human-like language. Very fluent, very coherent. That's kind of the foundation for agents to communicate and, importantly, reason.
Right.
These new models aren't just better at language, they're enabling AI to actually reason and plan on a much higher level. And that's absolutely essential for an agent to act autonomously.
So they can figure things out on their own more.
Yes, exactly. What's really changing the game is their ability to understand context, nuance, allowing agents to go off script, you might say, make judgment calls. Older AI just couldn't handle that flexibility. It moves us from basic automation towards, well, genuine assistance.
And it's not just theory, is it? Businesses are actually adopting this stuff. Datum Quest mentions seeing agents integrated across industries, automating customer service, data analysis, workflow management.
It really boils down to efficiency gains, doesn't it?
Wow.
And cutting operational costs.
Yeah.
That seems to be a major driver.
Makes sense.
And the money folks are definitely noticing. You look at Business Insider, the Economic Times, they reported some big VC investments. Startups like Stack AI raising $16 million. Adopt AI getting $6 million.
Wow, okay.
That kind of cash signals real belief in where this is headed. And then you zoom out, Yahoo Finance had this projection, right? The market growing from maybe $5.3 billion in 2023 to, get this, $216.8 billion by 2035.
Whoa, $216 billion. That's not a small trend. That's suggesting a huge economic shift.
Exactly. It seems the smart money isn't just in the core AI tech anymore, but in the application layer. The company's finding clever ways to use these agents to solve real problems.
This is where it gets kind of mind-bending, I think. Sam Altman at OpenAI, he talked about AI evolving in stages, right?
Levels.
Yeah, levels. He said current AI is kind of second level. It can do complex analysis, solve problems. But the real buzz is about reaching this third level AI agent. That sounds like a massive leap. True autonomy, independent decisions.
Yes, and deep learning is really the engine driving that. OpenAI talks about this a lot. It's a type of machine learning, kind of inspired by how our brains work. Uses these complex layers, neural networks, to learn really intricate patterns from data.
So it learns without being explicitly told every single rule.
Precisely. It lets these agents learn and adapt in ways older systems just couldn't manage. That's crucial for handling unexpected situations.
And linking that back to 2025, Gartner had that statistic, didn't they? It really caught my eye. By 2028, they reckon at least 15% of our day-to-day work decisions will be made autonomously by agentic AI.
15%.
Yeah, up from basically zero in 2024. That just hammers home how fast and how big this change could be.
It really does. And if you think about the impact across different industries,
Yeah.
you can see some clear paths. Customer service, for instance, DataQuest mentioned this. Agents offering 24/7 help.
Reducing costs dramatically, I bet.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And potentially offering more personalized interactions because they can learn individual customer histories and preferences.
Okay, that makes sense. And healthcare. Wow. The possibilities seem enormous there. DataQuest talked about agents helping with diagnosis, analyzing medical images way faster, more accurately maybe, helping manage patients, even virtual health assistant.
Imagine the impact that could have on just, well, access to healthcare.
Yeah.
And efficiency.
Huge. And finance. CX Today flagged that as ripe for disruption. We already see AI in fraud detection, automated trading bots.
Sure, that's established.
But agents could take over things like paying bills automatically, processing invoices, updating ledgers, freeing up the humans for more strategic thinking, I suppose.
That's the idea. Handle the routine, elevate the human role.
Retail too, e-commerce. DataQuest mentioned personalized shopping, better recommendations, finally, and optimizing supply chains with AI managing inventory.
Think how much smoother and maybe more relevant your online shopping could get.
Yeah, recommendations that actually make sense for once. That's the dream.
And it's not just the obvious sectors. CX Today's example of network providers using agents for outage detection, proactive alerts. That's smart. And platforms like Salesforce building Agentforce. 100 pre-built industry-specific bots. That signals a big move towards off-the-shelf AI solutions for businesses.
And they might even talk to other systems, right? Like CX Today mentioned, maybe interacting with Workday to automate stuff across different departments.
That cross-platform potential is really powerful, breaking down silos.
Okay, now, let's get to the bit VentureBeat called cool and scary, the workforce impact. You hear automation, autonomy, and, the immediate fear is job losses.
It's the elephant in the room, for sure.
This idea of augmentation sounds good, AI handling the grunt work, freeing us up, but are we seeing discussion about the potential for, serious transitional unemployment or needing massive retraining programs? Because that seems like a real possibility, too.
That's a really fair question. The sources we looked at, especially DataQuest, they do lean heavily on that augmentation angle.
Right.
The focus is genuinely on automating the repetitive, the time-consuming stuff. The argument is that this frees up people for more strategic work, creative tasks, things that, require a human touch, enhancing our abilities, helping businesses scale. Yeah. That's the optimistic view.
But it requires a shift, right? People need the skills for those elevated roles.
Absolutely. And VentureBeat did touch upon the need for things like AI governance platforms, ways to manage the legal side, the ethics, performance, making sure it's all transparent and responsible. That implies a need for new skills in managing and overseeing these systems too.
Okay. Shifting gears a bit, JP Morgan had some interesting takes on where the investment opportunities might lie. They pointed out that right now a lot of the money is concentrated, isn't it? Hardware, the big cloud providers.
That's right. NVIDIA, AWS, the usual suspects, they've soaked up a lot of that initial investment wave. But JP Morgan suggests looking further down the chain for future growth.
Right, like those AI agent startups we mentioned, Stack AI, Adopt AI. They're already getting decent funding.
Yeah.
Exactly. Plus, the established tech giants who are clearly building their own agent capabilities. Microsoft, Amazon, Google.
And for broader exposure, maybe those AI-focused ETFs.
That's another avenue they mentioned. And it's not just the AI builders themselves. JP Morgan also stressed the importance of the infrastructure,
Yeah.
semiconductors, right? The basic building blocks powering it all.
Yeah, the picks and shovels.
Kind of. And even what they called AI essentials. Think utilities seeing more demand from all those power-hungry data centers.
That's an interesting angle. What really stood out to me was their comparison to the early internet days, like the dot-com boom.
Mm-hmm.
They suggested the biggest long-term winners might not be the ones building the pipes, but the AI developers and integrators. The companies that figure out really smart ways to use the infrastructure, like Amazon or Uber, use the internet.
It's a great point. A reminder that the initial hype cycle doesn't always predict who wins in the long run. And JP Morgan did add a note of caution, too, about valuations, that huge gap between the mega cap tech stocks and everyone else. Right. They suggested maybe a catch-up scenario where the broader AI ecosystem starts to mature and generate real revenue rather than the big guys falling back.
Potentially, yeah, as the value spreads out a bit more.
Looking even further out, Datum Quest mentioned this concept of an AI-driven Web 4.0, some call it,
Yeah, the next evolution.
where agents play a much bigger role. Smarter search that really understands context, maybe decentralized AI, super personalized digital assistants.
It definitely paints a picture of a much more intelligent, a much more automated digital world ahead.
So if we try and boil this all down, the main takeaway for you listening seems to be this. AI agents aren't some distant sci-fi dream.
Not anymore.
All the signs from the sources we've looked at point to 2025 being a really pivotal year. We're going to see them emerge probably quite rapidly as a major force in work and in our personal lives, too.
And it feels like more than just an incremental step. It really has the potential to fundamentally change how businesses operate, how we operate.
Which leads to that final kind of provocative thought, doesn't it?
Yeah. As these agents get woven more tightly into our work, into our daily routines, what completely new things, good or bad, might happen that we haven't even considered yet?
Exactly. It's easy to focus on, great, my email will be sorted, productivity gains. But what are those bigger societal shifts? The second, third order effects? What challenges or possibilities are lurking just over the horizon?
Things we probably need to start thinking about now, even if the answers aren't clear.
Absolutely. So this deep dive really is just scratching the surface. If you're interested in how this applies specifically to your industry, or you want to look deeper into the investment side, well, there's plenty more to explore.
No doubt, this conversation is definitely going to keep evolving fast.